Well, hello there, YouTube. Welcome to a 61 degree 13th, isn't it? I don't know, 13th or 14th of July. And I don't think there's been a morning yet in the last week that it hasn't had this overcast, but it always burns off and becomes super, super nice. Can't complain about that. I love it being a little cooler in the mornings anyway. So I definitely won't complain. Mourning doves flying around. Man, there's a lot of mourning doves around here. It's crazy. All right. Let's start off a Tuesday. Back to the work rides in the cage.
I know.
Well, Mama, yes, Tuesday. Have an awesome day. And I'll see you in the travels.
Sounds good, baby.
All right.
I love you.
Love you. See you. Bye. Bye-bye now. This is a gentleman from Oregon that's in for a first service on his 2020 Spyder RT Limited. But he does something unique. He runs 30 PSI front and rear. Although when I checked it, he was 24 on the right, 25 on the left, and 27 on the rear, but he says he really likes how it changed the handling of it. So, I don't know. See what I think here. Technically, as far as the tire's concerned, you're okay, because the operating pressure of the tire is 13 to 30, but BRP is very specific about, this is for up front, very specific about, 20 psi plus or minus 2. You can't go, that's one of the hugest mistakes people make, is they see that pressure on the tire, and very seldom it's just because these tires are unique and they're made for a specific model. They can do that, they can put that operating range in there of pressure. But on most tires, they don't know what you're going to stick it on, So they'll list the pressure, the load rating, what the load rating of the tire is, and then they give you the pressure where it achieves that load rating. In no way, shape, or form are they telling you that's where you need that tire pressure. And you wouldn't believe how many people look at that load rating pressure, and that's where they set it on their car or their motorcycle. Dude, that is it's just a load rating, and they're telling you that it can handle this load at that pressure. And the load rating of that tire far exceeds, for that one tire, far exceeds what the load capacity is, like, for example, a Spyder. It exceeds what it's supposed to be. And if you look at any manufacturer's website, tires that is, they'll tell you go by the manufacturer's recommended pressures. Simple as that. I feel like I'm rolling on bricks. It is Kenda tires, so he's got the correct tires and all that stuff on there. But he said he really liked it. He said he felt like the front tires are rolling. Yeah, they definitely roll. Spyder tires. Like the old story I tell you, if you walk with a set of these tires in your hand, you'll actually feel that, just the tire, like you're bringing it to attack or yourself to put it on a Spyder. You'll feel them wall. They wiggle. They definitely roll, and that's by design. So yeah, if he felt like it was rolling, I can guarantee you, without question, it was rolling. Your car tires do it, they all do it. I don't like the way it feels, I gotta say. The bike feels twitchy. You know what it feels like? It feels like it's got too much air in the tires. And then one of the other things you gotta be concerned with is that, part of the tire pressure is there's a certain amount of heat that should be built up in the tires while you're rolling. If you ever overpressure them, they don't get up the temperature. The tire makes its traction with temperature. Even that's why even in the winter snow, freezing cold, you come to a stop after you've been driving for a while, touch that tire. That tire is surprisingly warm. It's designed to do just that. And do you know that when a tire's going down the road, even just freely floating down the road, it is transferring rubber, like the rubber's melting to the road. You ever watch the races where, you know, after big rain, or, you know, different cars or different vehicles have been on the track, you know, like in the flat tracking world, they call it, you know, bluing it in. And anyway, it takes a certain amount of rubber on the track, and then them tires really stick. Because what does rubber stick best to? Another piece of rubber. But anyway, if you watch it, you can find videos that somehow or another they recorded that happening. And then when you see that going on, you're going, man, that tire wouldn't last on a round-the-block test ride. But magically, they do. But yeah, it feels a little flighty to me. But if he likes it, I mean, BRP doesn't want these pressures, but technically the tire can handle those pressures. Alright, so I'm going to take this thing back to him. He's up there waiting for it. Oh, if you're looking for that the lock helper, that little round knob, and you go to your dealer to find it, do not have them try to find it on a fish card. It is not listed with the Spyder. It is an accessory. It's called the link tool. You know, the link system that all watercraft, snowmobiles, ATVs, Spyders, they all have that link system where you can swap different bags and accessories and stuff. Well, that's called a link tool, we found out. We had to go to the BRP dealer forum to figure that out. Apparently it's in the accessory catalog when you look up different Spyder stuff. Or I guess anything with using the link system, but that's where it's at. This gentleman wanted one, we couldn't figure it out. We had it in stock too, which is cool. Alright, K1600. You don't normally see them like that, do you? If you guys ever wondered what the throttle body and intake manifold look like out, there it is. So when the starter clutch seizes up on one of these, apparently, according to the customer, it sounds like a jet taking off. This is supposed to free spool on there, and she's everything's attached to each other in one solid mass. Well, when it did that, it turned the starter motor into a generator until it's not supposed to sound like a kid's toy. I haven't taken it apart yet, but it ought to look really interesting in there. These things turn over surprisingly slow. Well, they turn over fairly quick, but it's got reduction gears that it ends up turning the engine over. And then from here, this is where it's actually turning the clutch over. So you got these reduction gears that ride like this. Starter motor rides on the big gear, then this turns the clutch, and then when it's going the correct direction, which is forward, which is starting the bike, it locks up. It's like a one-way bearing, and then it turns the clutch over. You can actually see all the components inside here. That's where the idler gear rides. That's where the starter clutch rides. And when the starter, which is sitting here, turns it and everything goes, it spins the clutch over and starts the engine. Well, when the engine starts, that one-way clutch just slips. I don't know why, but that clutch quit slipping. And she's a solid one-piece thing, which when the engine was running, it started turning that. It started turning that. So what was consuming power to feed it in there? This is brushes, magnets. That thing was producing power. So the starter motor literally became a generator, but it don't last not long enough to hurt anything. And there's safety things there that divert that, which is part of the starting system, because this is only engaged when the starter button is engaged. Otherwise, it's just floating in space. But yeah, I'm sure that made a crazy, crazy sound. And it happened just all of a sudden too, which is kind of weird. And of course, it happened, shortly after one of the guys upstairs did I think it was just a basic service on it. So, how timing for those things happen. Murphy's Law, hard at work, that son of a gun. So, anyway, it's going to need a whole starter clutch and most obviously a starter motor. It's not that big of a deal. You're kind of taking it apart, and this is an older one. The older ones, the plastic comes off really weird on them. Way less intuitive than what the newer ones do. 17 and newer, I think. And but there's way less junk all in here like the newer ones. You take them out. In fact, when I'm doing those tranny recalls, I don't take the manifold off. I found a way to loosen it and lift it where I can get to a couple of bolts. For the ones with the electronic reverse, I don't take that thing off. And this one, there's, maybe 10 zip ties. On the newer ones, there's like zip ties down there. Oh, it's just a nightmare. In fact, I can literally see the cylinder head on this one with everything together. I could look right down there and see it. I think it's just emission stuff and whatever else that the newer ones are way, way more tied in tighter. That's where it all sits. It just sits in that little box sitting here on the top. The alternator is sitting right here. The starter is sitting right here. But unfortunately, all of that is buried underneath it. It's sitting under the manifold. All that stuff's on this side. You can get to the outside of the alternator. You can't really do anything with it. You can see it. You could probably... Nah, I think to even get the alternator out, you'd have to pull this off. That involves all the plastic and the tank, and the tank was full. The guy was probably got his new service, gonna take off on a long ride, and this happens. Really clean for a 2014, super clean. Usually you got this plenum is just full of debris and stuff from all the road traveling, and surprisingly little did I have to blow off. You just seal everything off before you crack anything loose, and just make sure you blow anything that can hold like a rock or debris or anything like on that. You need to make sure, run your little mirrors down there, make sure everything's gone. You don't want to lift that thing off, and then something, speaking of Murphy's Law, if something's going to fall down one of those intakes, it's going to be a cylinder with a valve wide open. You know how that goes. It won't be closed where you can reach in there and suck it out with something, or if it's metal, grab it. No. That's not how it works. The one thing I do love about the older ones is you can take the tank cowling assembly, and they even show you in the instructions. You don't have to take all the pieces off and then the last piece is the centerpiece. The way these come apart, you get to a point that you just pull the whole thing off as an assembly. Kind of cool. But all the weird other stuff you have to do counteracts the niceness of that. I mean, it's really nestled in there the way the side covers and stuff are. It's kind of bizarre. And we don't do the older ones that often, so every time I have to open up air to figure it out. The ones, 17 and newer, I can do them things in my sleep because of all the transmission recalls I did on them. Cool. well, not cool for the customer, but cool technology and whatnot. It's funny how every manufacturer kind of does things a little different, but deep down the core is everything's pretty basic. The way they run, the way they're fueled, their ignitions, their transmissions, every, alternators, starters, they all are somewhat similar, or enough that if you know about motorcycles, you could monkey your way through one of these. I wouldn't touch a BMW without some kind of manual reference, because you do things out of order, you can break things, there's hidden tabs, hidden bolts. Why is that thing stuck? Snap! Oh, that's why it's stuck, because there's a bolt underneath there that I didn't know was there because I don't have a manual for it. That's why it's nice to have air on the computers, and you just go step by step. And things that they have you watch, they point out. So every time you look at air, you're going, yeah. Ooh, that one little piece of information was worth opening up the manual. And because it's all digital through the dealer network with BMW, it's so quick to get to. Way faster than the old days, going back to the shelves in the back room, where all the manuals are. You can't find the manual. Someone has it, or worse yet, someone took it home because they were working on one at home or something, which nowadays is a big no-no to take anything from the store home, but it's happened in years gone by when things were simpler, less stress. Not that it's stressful now. It's just the rules have changed. But anyway, the manuals they're always right there. You can have multiple manuals open even on the same computer. Just open another tab. All right, that's enough BMW talk today. Good Lord, talked to you for almost 10 minutes. I gotta go. Boy, these evenings sure have been nice. The days have been great. Temperatures have been super nice. No complaints. Well, hello there, YouTube. Man, another beautiful, beautiful day. I think it was low 80s today.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. The night's been nice and cool. Last night wasn't as cool, but we had one or two nights that were 49 degrees.
Yeah,
Man,
that's a heck of a swing.
you wake up in the middle of the night and you got windows cracked for ventilation. It ain't ventilation anymore, man. That's like an ice box.
Yeah, that's cold.
Wow. But I think it was in the mid to low 50s last night, but really nice evenings and perfect days. Mid low 80s, can't ask for much better than that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I think the hottest we seen was when I came home Friday from work on the GSA. It was like 92. I don't think I've seen 90 since, have we?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's normal with Northwest weather.
I'll take the 80s.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that old BMW. That's kind of weird, huh? That starter clutch. But anyway, on that, I think we're gonna. I know. You just never.
You never know. There's just weird stuff.
Yeah. I think I've heard people say something about the starter clutches on those things before. Maybe they talked about it in school and says, "Look out, you'll be doing some." I'm like, "I ain't never seen one." Well, it's sitting on my bench now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we're gonna roll out on that.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. And you guys have a wonderful Wednesday or Thursday.
Heck yeah. About halfway point.
Yeah.
Real close.
Almost.
All right. We'll see you guys in the morning.
See you then.
Thanks for watching now. Bye-bye.